Have you felt that despite all your efforts, prosperity always seems to slip through your fingers like water? Look around you right now. Observe your home, especially your kitchen. There, in the heart of your home, may be the invisible root of all the blockages that have prevented blessings from flowing into your life. Thousands of people worldwide are living under a spiritual shadow without realizing it. They work tirelessly, save money, plan for the future, but something always seems to sabotage their efforts. Persistent headaches that doctors cannot explain. Family arguments that arise out of nowhere, especially during meals. Unexpected bills arriving when there finally seemed to be some financial relief. Disturbing dreams about food or the feeling of hunger. The constant sensation that something is missing, even when all basic needs are being met. These are not mere coincidences. They are clear signs of a spiritual misery that has settled in your home through the most sacred and paradoxically most neglected place, your kitchen. If you feel you need protection against this negative influence, comment now. I am protected by divine light. This phrase has power. It is the first step of your spiritual shield and a declaration of intention to the universe that you are ready to break the cycles of scarcity. Father Pio of Pietrelcina, one of the most powerful and mystical saints of the Catholic Church, known for his supernatural gifts of bilocation, soul reading and miraculous healings, revealed to a few trusted followers a profound knowledge about the influence of domestic spaces on spiritual life. With his extraordinary sensitivity, he could see what ordinary eyes cannot, invisible currents of energy circulating through homes, especially in kitchens, where food, the ultimate symbol of divine providence, is prepared and consecrated daily. The enemy feeds on disorder. And where there is disorder, blessing is lacking, he would say to a faithful woman who could not understand why, despite her daily devotion, her family constantly suffered from financial and health problems. Upon spiritually visiting this woman's house, yes, Father Pio had the gift of bilocation and could be in two places at once. He immediately identified the focus of the problem. The kitchen was full of elements that functioned as magnets for scarcity and repellents for divine abundance. Salt is one of the most powerful elements in spiritual tradition, present both at the dining table and in the most ancient protection rituals. Salt symbolizes purification, preservation, and incorruptibility. In the sacred scriptures we read, "You are the salt of the earth." Jesus Christ was referring to the transformative and purifying power that his followers should have in the world. Father Pio deeply understood the mystical meaning of salt and used it in ways few comprehended. For the Italian saint, salt was not just a seasoning for food, but an instrument of spiritual power capable of completely transforming the atmosphere of an environment. He always kept a small container of exercise salt with him, and in moments of great spiritual disturbance, would throw a few grains on the ground, rebuking invisible negative presences. With this simple gesture, he could dissipate tensions and restore peace in charged environments. What few know is that Father Pio recommended a specific ritual with salt to purify the kitchen and transform it into a true portal of blessings. This ritual, kept secret for decades and transmitted only orally among his closest confidants, has the power to expel all negative influence that may be blocking prosperity in your life. Today, this knowledge reaches you by divine providence. To perform the kitchen purification ritual with salt, you will need 3 tablespoons of coarse salt. The number 3 represents the Holy Trinity and enhances the power of any spiritual ritual. A transparent glass container. Glass does not retain negative energies. Enough filtered water to fill the container. A white candle representing divine light. 3 bay leaves, optional but highly recommended for their power to attract prosperity. The ideal time to start this ritual is on a Wednesday morning, a day traditionally consecrated to Saint Joseph, protector of families and patron saint of workers. If not possible, any day before dawn or after sunset is also effective. Make sure your kitchen is physically clean before beginning the spiritual cleansing. As Father Pio always said, physical cleanliness is the first step towards spiritual purification. Begin the ritual by lighting the white candle and placing it in a safe place in your kitchen. The candle flame will function as a spiritual beacon, attracting positive energies and repelling negative influences. Next, fill the glass container with filtered water up to 3/4 of its capacity. Water, the element of purification par excellence, will serve as a vehicle for the transformative energy of salt. Holding the first tablespoon of coarse salt, raise it to eye level and recite with conviction. By the power of this sacred salt, all negative energy that has settled in this kitchen is now dissolved and transformed. All evil returns to its origin. Nothing can reach me. I am protected by divine light. Slowly pour the salt into the water, visualizing it absorbing all the heavy and negative vibrations from the environment. Repeat the same process with the second tablespoon of salt, saying, "By the power of this sacred salt, all scarcity, all misery, all poverty that has fed on the disorder in this space is now transmuted into abundance. Divine providence flows freely to my home. All evil returns to its origin. Nothing can reach me. I am protected by divine light." With the third and final tablespoon of salt, recite with even more conviction. "By the power of this sacred salt, I consecrate this kitchen as a temple of nutrition, health, and prosperity. May everything prepared here serve to nourish not only the body, but also the soul. May divine blessing enter with each food, and may misery have no place in this house. All evil returns to its origin. Nothing can reach me. I am protected by divine light." Quick pause. If you're taking notes, write everything down carefully. Don't skip any detail. Each gesture you make activates an ancient spiritual force. This is not a simple recipe, but a sacred ritual that can completely change the energetic flow of your life. Regain your concentration, breathe deeply 3 times, and continue. After adding the 3 tablespoons of salt to the water, stir the contents of the container clockwise 7 times. The number 7 represents perfection and completion. As you stir, visualize the water becoming luminous, charged with purifying energy. If you chose to include the bay leaves, add them, now one by one, saying as you place each leaf, "May prosperity manifest, may abundance remain, may divine providence never fail." Now, with the container in hand, walk through your entire kitchen, starting from the point furthest from the entrance and moving toward the door. In each corner, on each surface, sprinkle a few drops of this consecrated water, saying, "This space is purified, this space is consecrated, this space is protected." Pay special attention to the cabinets where you store food, the stove where you prepare meals, the table where the family gathers to eat, and the refrigerator where you preserve provisions. These are power points in the spiritual geography of the kitchen and need to be purified with even more zeal. After sprinkling the entire kitchen, return to the lit candle and place the container with the remaining water and salt beside it. Allow both to remain there for 3 complete hours. During this period, avoid entering the kitchen. The purification process will be at its peak, and your presence could interfere with the energetic reorganization that will be taking place. After 3 hours, return to the kitchen and pour the contents of the container into running water, preferably down a drain or toilet, saying, "As this water flows away, all negativity, all scarcity, all misery flows away from my home. This cycle is ended. A new cycle of abundance begins now." Wash the container thoroughly with running water so that no trace of the salt used in the ritual remains. The candle can continue burning until it is completely consumed, but never leave it unsupervised. After completing this purifying ritual, you need to pay attention to 3 specific elements in your kitchen that, according to Father Pio, function as channels for spiritual misery if not properly treated. First, carefully examine all your utensils. Any plate, glass, cutlery, or pan that is broken, chipped, or cracked should be immediately discarded. These damaged objects represent ruptures in the energetic flow of prosperity. Every time you use a broken utensil, you are unconsciously sending the universe the message that you accept incompleteness, lack, scarcity in your life. Father Pio was extremely rigorous on this point and advised his faithful never to eat from cracked plates or drink from chipped glasses. Second, inspect your pantry and refrigerator. Eliminate without hesitation any expired, wilted, or decomposing food. Bread that rots in forgetfulness contaminates the grace that should nourish, the saint would say. Spoiled foods are powerful attractors of negative energies and blockers of prosperity. They symbolize carelessness, devaluation of the divine gift of nutrition, and on a deeper spiritual level, lack of respect for the providence granted to you. Finally, pay attention to the dish towels and kitchen cloths. Replace all those that are stained, torn, or excessively worn. These fabrics absorb not only physical dirt, but also the energies generated during food preparation. A dirty or old dish towel retains negative vibrations and redistributes them throughout the kitchen each time it is used. Father Pio recommended that kitchen cloths be changed or completely purified at least once a week. The effects of this kitchen purification ritual can be felt almost immediately. Many people report an immediate sensation of lightness and clarity in the environment, as if an invisible weight had been removed. Others notice more subtle changes in the following days: a lighter mood during meals, fewer arguments at the table, greater family harmony. On the material plane, the effects tend to manifest in growing waves of prosperity. The first wave generally manifests between 3 and 7 days after the ritual. Small, unexpected amounts of money may come to you, opportunities for savings may arise, or you may receive unexpected gifts. The second wave, more substantial, usually manifests between 3 and 7 weeks after the ritual. Job promotions, new professional opportunities, favorable resolution of pending financial issues. But the deepest benefits are those that affect the physical and spiritual health of the family. Food prepared in a consecrated and energetically clean kitchen nourishes not only the body, but also the soul. Meals become true moments of communion and strengthening of family bonds. Sleep improves, dreams become more peaceful and revealing. Intuition sharpens. Mary Ann, a 68-year-old lady who lived with her son, daughter-in-law, and 3 grandchildren in a small house on the outskirts of Houston, had tried everything to improve the family's financial situation. Her son, unemployed for almost a year, was already losing hope of finding a new job. Bills were piling up, arguments were constant, and Mary Ann's health was beginning to deteriorate due to stress. It was then that a friend told her about the kitchen purification ritual attributed to Father Pio. Initially skeptical but willing to try anything that might help, Mary Ann followed all the instructions meticulously. She removed 3 chipped plates she still used daily, discarded several expired items hidden in the back of the pantry, and replaced all the old dish towels with new ones. 3 days after performing the ritual, her son received an unexpected call from a former colleague offering him a job interview. The following week, he was hired with a salary higher than he had previously received. A month later, Mary Ann's daughter-in-law, who worked as a house cleaner, secured 3 new regular clients, significantly increasing the family income. But most impressive was the transformation in the family environment. Meals, previously tense and silent, became moments of cheerful conversation and planning for the future. The grandchildren, who used to eat quickly to escape the heavy atmosphere, now asked to remain at the table even after finishing their food. Mary Ann's own health visibly improved, her blood pressure stabilized, and the headaches that had tormented her almost daily completely disappeared. "I didn't believe something so simple could make such a big difference," she confessed to friends. "But now I understand that our home is not just a physical space, it's a living organism that responds to our actions and intentions. Spiritually caring for my kitchen was like removing an invisible blockage that prevented blessings from flowing to our family. The knowledge I have just shared with you is not new. It is rooted in the most ancient spiritual traditions and has been practiced by enlightened people throughout the centuries. Father Pio merely rescued and condensed this wisdom, adapting it to modern life and the specific needs of contemporary families. By following these guidelines, you are not simply performing a mechanical ritual, but connecting to a millennial current of understanding about the invisible laws that govern prosperity and well-being. You are recognizing that the material and spiritual are not separate spheres, but interconnected dimensions of the same reality. The kitchen of your home, much more than a functional space, is a temple where the miracle of transforming food into vital energy, into health, into life occurs daily. It is the place where divine providence manifests in the most tangible and constant form. For this very reason, it is a strategic point that forces contrary to your prosperity will try to occupy and corrupt. Do not allow this to happen. Take possession of this sacred space. Consecrate it as a permanent channel of blessings for you and your family. Perform this ritual today. Don't wait. The energy around you is already moving. The protection you seek is in your hands now. The decision to transform your kitchen into a sanctuary of prosperity or allow it to continue being a drainage point for your blessings is entirely yours. And this decision will affect not only your material well-being, but also your physical, mental, and spiritual health in the coming months and years. Remember the words of Father Pio. Divine providence never fails for those who care with reverence for the gifts they have already received. Your kitchen, with everything it contains, is one of those gifts. Care for it with the spiritual reverence it deserves, and you will witness miraculous transformations in all areas of your life. When you are performing this ritual, remember that you are not alone. Father Pio himself, in some mysterious way that transcends our limited understanding, will be interceding for you and your family. His powerful spiritual presence will be felt, especially in the moments when you are sprinkling the salt water around the corners of the kitchen. In the decades that Father Pio lived and ministered in San Giovanni Rotondo, Italy, thousands of people witnessed the transformative effects of his prayers and spiritual advice. Many reported supernatural experiences in his presence, the inexplicable aroma of roses when there were no flowers nearby, the instant healing of chronic diseases, the miraculous resolution of seemingly insurmountable financial problems. This same healing and transformative energy can be present in your home through the ritual I have just shared with you. It's not about magic or superstition, but a spiritual practice deeply rooted in the understanding that there are invisible laws governing the material world, laws that people like Father Pio could access and use for the good of those who sought his guidance. You may be wondering, why the kitchen? Why not purify the entire house at once? The answer lies in the principle of energy concentration. When we focus our intention and actions on a single space, especially one as vital as the kitchen, we create a focal point of transformation that will eventually radiate to the entire house. It's like lighting a single candle in a dark room. Initially, the light is small and localized, but gradually all darkness is dissipated. Similarly, by purifying and consecrating your kitchen, you are lighting a spiritual light that over time will illuminate all other rooms in your house. Moreover, the kitchen is the space where food a universal symbol of nutrition, life, and abundance, is prepared and often consumed. It is where the raw materials provided by divine providence are transformed into sustenance for the body. This transformation process carries a profound spiritual symbolism that echoes the alchemical process of consciousness transformation. By purifying your kitchen, you are essentially purifying the spiritual cauldron where material abundance is processed and distributed to all family members. You are declaring that this space is sacred and should serve only as a channel for positive, nutritious, and prosperous energies. Father Pio, with his extraordinary spiritual sensitivity, deeply understood these invisible dynamics. He could see beyond the material veil and identify the energetic knots that block the flow of prosperity in people's lives. For many of his closest followers, his advice on organizing and purifying domestic spaces initially seemed strange or trivial. How could something as simple as discarding broken utensils or replacing old dish towels make a difference in serious problems like chronic diseases or persistent financial difficulties? However, those who followed his guidance reported changes, so profound and immediate that they could not be explained by mere coincidence. It was as if an invisible door had been unblocked, allowing the energy of life to flow again. A particularly notable case was that of an American family living near Denver. Jack, the father, worked tirelessly as a carpenter but could never overcome financial difficulties. No matter how hard he tried, there was always an unexpected expense, an illness, an accident, something to drain the family's resources. After a consultation with Father Pio, he received surprising guidance. Go home and examine your kitchen. You will find 3 signs of disorder that have allowed misery to feed on your efforts. Confused but confident in the saint's wisdom, Jack returned home and, with his wife's help, carefully inspected the kitchen. To his surprise, he found exactly what Father Pio had predicted. Several chipped plates they still use daily, a shelf with forgotten and already deteriorated food, and worn and stained kitchen towels that his wife hesitated to replace for reasons of economy. Following the saint's instructions, the family discarded all these items and performed the purification ritual with salt. In the following weeks, a series of unexpected events began to transform their financial situation. A former client reappeared with a significant order. A distant relative left a small inheritance to the family. Jack's workshop began to attract new clients without any advertising. In less than 3 months, the family had paid off all debts and was beginning to save for their own home. A dream that seemed impossible just 6 months before. Stories like this are not rare among those who knew Father Pio's more reserved teachings. And now, this knowledge comes to you not by chance, but because the time has come for a similar transformation in your life. The truth is that many people seek complex solutions to problems that have simple origins. They look for elaborate explanations for blockages that could be resolved with direct and objective actions. The ritual I shared with you is simple, but its power lies precisely in this simplicity. It is accessible to anyone, regardless of their financial condition or level of spiritual knowledge. All you need is salt, water, a candle, a glass container, and most importantly, the sincere intention to transform. This intention is like the key that activates all the power of the ritual. Without it, the gestures would be empty, mechanical, devoid of meaning and consequently of effectiveness. By performing this ritual with genuine intention and faith, you will be actively participating in the co-creation of your reality. You will be declaring to the universe that you no longer accept scarcity, disorder, or negativity in your life. You will be taking possession of your right to prosperity and abundance. And it is important to emphasize, this ritual is not a denial of material reality or an attempt to escape personal responsibility. On the contrary, it is a recognition that our actions on the physical plane have consequences on the spiritual plane and vice versa. It is a way of aligning all levels of existence, physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual, so that they work in harmony, not in opposition. Father Pio frequently reminded his followers that faith without works is dead. In other words, it is not enough to believe or desire change. One must act, do one's part, create the conditions for the divine to fully manifest itself. The kitchen purification ritual is exactly that, a work of faith, a concrete act that demonstrates your willingness to collaborate with the spiritual forces that desire your good and your prosperity. Do not underestimate the power of this simple act. Many of the most significant transformations in human history began with seemingly small and insignificant gestures. Similarly, the transformation of your personal reality can begin with this simple but deeply meaningful ritual. Remember, your kitchen is not just a functional space in your home. It is a microcosm that reflects and influences your entire life. It is where food, the universal symbol of abundance, is prepared, transformed, and shared. It is where the family gathers, where stories are told, where traditions are passed, from one generation to another. By purifying and consecrating this space, you are essentially declaring that you deserve abundance, health, harmony, and prosperity. You are creating an energetic field that will attract these qualities to your life in a natural and spontaneous way. Don't wait for extreme situations to force you to seek desperate solutions. Be proactive. Perform this ritual not only as a response to existing problems, but as a way to prevent future difficulties and open new channels for the manifestation of blessings in your life. The moment is now. Today, not tomorrow. The energy around you is already in motion, responding to your intentions and actions. Each day that passes without you taking concrete action is one more day, allowing the forces of scarcity and disorder to continue influencing your reality. Make your choice. Take possession of your power. Transform your kitchen into a sanctuary of abundance and see how your entire life will begin to reflect this new reality. And don't forget, when the ritual is completed, light a white candle, pray the Lord's Prayer with deep devotion, and declare, with conviction, "In my house God's providence reigns, nothing will be lacking to me," and invoke with faith, "Father Pio, intercede for me and my family, so that all misery may be expelled from my kitchen, and that divine blessing may manifest at every meal." Amen. This final declaration is the seal that confirms all the work done. It is the recognition that you are not alone on this journey, but count on the guidance and protection of superior spiritual forces that desire your well-being and prosperity. Now the power is in your hands. The choice is yours. Transformation awaits your command to begin. Don't hesitate. Don't postpone. The time of your prosperity is now.